Okay. All righty. Perfect. Well, I believe we've hit the top of the hour. So welcome to another ASEA Global Expansion Team Zoom. We meet every Monday and have a variety of trainers coming in from the field and from outside of our industry to teach us how to be more effective and efficient in building our ASEA business. And tonight we have the amazing Danielle Matthews, and she's going to be talking about handling objections. So Danielle, are you there?
I'm here, Cindy.
Perfect. I know you're bouncing from Zoom to Zoom, so I'm glad that you could fit this into your evening. So yeah, let's hand it over to you. I know that we've all been faced with a pandemic and we're having to adapt to the way we build our business. But we've got advantages in so many ways because of the kind of business that we are building and the kind of technology that we are working with. So yeah, tell us what you're coming up against and how you're handling what you're coming up against as you're out there in the field. And I think you do a lot of work on social media as well.
Yeah, I do, for sure. That's actually, I had to pivot my business entirely. So for those of you that don't know, I've been sharing ASEA now since, I guess really it was the beginning of 2016. So a while. It's been a little over 5 years. And I did it entirely in the cold market. So I kind of started things from a standstill. I had no experience in network marketing. This product just changed my life with my health. And when I got well, I just went, you know what, people need to know about this. And I built my business literally because I Googled the word networking and I tried to figure out how does one meet people when you own a business and build your business. And so it's interesting because when I Googled that, I lived in Florida. The first thing that came up was something called BNI, Business Networking International. And so I went to my first BNI meeting. And when I walked in, the gentleman that was, they're called like the visitor host, the gentleman that was standing there ended up being someone that literally changed my life, because his name was Greg Guido. And he, first of all, he knew about ASEA, which is like how many times you run into somebody that knows about ASEA. It's not often. And the second thing was he was also in network marketing. And he said to me, look, I know you're by yourself. I know you don't have anybody training you down here on what to do. And he said, you know, we do training every Saturday. Why don't you come? And we will teach you the mindsets. We'll teach you what we've learned to build our business. You can just come in with the rest of our team. So I said, okay. I didn't know if he really meant it, but I really took it as like you're invited. So I showed up, and I kept showing up every single Saturday. I gave every Saturday morning to go and learn. And one of the things that they did with their team at the end of every meeting was they had a cup, and they passed this cup around, and you had to pull a piece of paper out of it. And I didn't know what was going on the first time. So I pulled out this piece of paper, and he said, okay, Danielle, you're first. How would you handle that objection? And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I said, I have no idea. And, you know, something came out of my mouth. I stumbled through some response. And when I got through with it, Greg said to me, Danielle, did you know there's a formula that you can follow to handle any objection that you're ever given? And I was like, oh my gosh, please tell me what it is. And he said a couple things to me that I'll never forget. He said, look, when you get an objection, remember that even if somebody tells you no, it allows you to grow, because you're going to learn from every conversation. You're either going to earn money from it because you're going to take them down the path where they agree and they purchase ASEA, or they're going to tell you no, and you get to learn something. What could you have done differently, or what could you have shifted, or anything that was in your control of that. Sometimes, you know, it's just not the right person, not the right time. But he also said that objections give you immediate feedback. He said, don't be scared of them. When someone's giving you an objection, they're only asking because they're interested. They're processing, they're thinking. They're questions that they're, you know, truly wondering to see, does this fit for me? Will this work for me? And if you take offense to them, you're gonna push that person away. You need to look at it like a game. And Cindy, I'm gonna attempt to share my screen because I do have some slides, but we're gonna see how it works out. Give me a sec. I got two screens running. Right now you're probably seeing nothing. Okay, do you see something now?
Yeah, we see objections, remember.
Cool. Okay, so he said to me, look, the first technique that you should use is something called the Porcupine Technique. And he said, look, if I had a porcupine and I tossed it into your lap, what would you do with it? And for those of you that don't know porcupines, I guess in Australia, they're called something different. They have something like it, but they're very pokey. They're full of spikes. And if they land on your lap, what are you going to do? You're going to toss it. And he said, the porcupine technique is basically, and this is a hedgehog, not a porcupine. I know that, but I like the image. So when you get it, you're going to toss it back. And so the idea with this is you want to keep the ball in play. You want to keep asking questions. And so before I move on with this, I want to know in the chat, what are the most common objections that you are getting? Just this week, if you're doing your job, goodness knows people are objecting to you or they're questioning things. So in the chat, please put, what is it that you're hearing people say? So price, thanks, Adam. How much does it cost? Thank you, Glenn. It's too expensive. I don't have the time. Yep, Kelly, I hear that too. Other objections that you guys hear. My doctor says, ... I don't want to sell. I'm not interested. Awesome. This is a scam. Yep. I'm glad it's working for you. It's irrelevant to me type of feeling. Yep. I have to ask my doctor about it. Sure. Is this network marketing? Yep. I'm healthy. I don't need it. Yep. If it's network marketing, no way. They just ignore you. Why do I need to try it for 3 months? Sure. Awesome. Can you all relate to these things? I think every single one of those I've heard. Is this Asea? Dorothy, that's a great objection. It means that people are starting to learn what Asea is. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So what I want to do is share with you the first one that I had on here, which was actually the first one that we heard, and that is, wait for it. It's too expensive. So I have my chat up, I can see it. What is a question? What could you porcupine to someone that says, you know what, Danielle, is just too expensive. I can't afford that. What is a question that you could ask that will keep the ball moving? And if you were on the Australia training on Saturday, you're disqualified from answering because you already know my response. Compared to what? Yeah, great question to keep the conversation going. Judy is there. Yep. So the question that I ask is, how much too much is it? Because if you ask that question, you're now dialing in with the person on what are they actually objecting to? Are they objecting to 20 bucks, to 50 bucks, to 100? How much too much is it out of their budget? Because when you ask that question, they will give an answer and it forces them to think, right? A lot of people bring up money as an objection because they think someone won't press them on it because it's uncomfortable for people and we avoid it, right? But the truth of the matter is, if someone's objecting about the price, number one, for you as the expert to know, to be a professional, you need to know that they're not seeing the value. All right. Price is an issue in the absence of value. When someone understands the value, they will never object to the price. Okay. A guy I used to date, he was getting his PhD. His advisor was learning about this. And he said to me, Danielle, how is this possibly this cheap? And I went, you get what it is. And you get what this can actually do for the body. And his response was completely different. How is it so cheap? All right. So when someone understands the value of it, it's a completely different look. So that is one thing. Thank you, Cindy, for putting it in the chat. How much too much is it is a really powerful question. It puts the porcupine back in their lap professionally, nicely, politely. You're being genuinely curious. And then it gives them the opportunity to tell you, which now back in your lap, right? They say it's $50 out of my budget. Great. If I could show you a way that you could get $50 off of your product, would you want to have that conversation? You don't say, well, just sign up 2 customers and it's paid for. That means nothing to them. That's overwhelming to them, right? You need to make them have it be their idea. So saying something like, if I could show you a way to get $50 off, would you want to have that conversation? Now, if they say no, it's probably because there's another objection that they're not telling you. If they say yes, then you say, great, let's have a conversation of what it looks like, to share ASEA with people in your world, because it's really simple. Just, 2 cases of ASEA will cover that for you. And you walk them down that path. So let's try another one. I think someone put this in the chat. I'm not interested right now. What's a porcupine? What could you toss back at them? What is the potential question that you could, keep the ball volleying, or the porcupine, if you will, moving? Someone says, I'm not interested right now. You got to interact with me on this one, guys. I'm going to wait. Think about it, right? This is something that, it's not specifically for you. Okay, so try and phrase it as a question. So maybe saying, yeah, what would make it interesting? What are you not interested in? Exactly, yeah. Yep, perfect, thanks, Gavin. So yeah, Greg, that's like what I ask. Because I want to get clear, right? The whole point of handling objections is getting clarity on, like, what are they actually saying? What is the block that they're having? So saying, well, what aren't you interested in, right? You don't know if they're saying they're not interested in the business or they're not interested in the product, right? And so just kind of dig deeper in, what part are you not interested in? And then take the conversation from there. Help them learn a little bit more. Lynette, thank you. Excellent. Yeah. So if you get to the point where, like, bad timing, things just aren't going well, ask the question about, would it be okay if I got in touch 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and I just, updated you? This is a massive field of science. They're finding new things all the time. Would it be okay if I kept you in the loop about things? Most people say yes because they highly doubt you're actually going to do it. Surprise them. If you follow up in 3 months or in 6 months, they will be impressed at your professionalism. All right. How about this one? My fill in the blank says this doesn't work. My brother, my doctor, my sister, my best friend, my whoever says this doesn't work. What do you say? We've all run into that. I know you have. What would you say to keep the porcupine going? What would you say to keep the questions going when they say, my ex says this doesn't work? And we practice here, and I'm making you practice here and making you think about it, because then in the moment it's going to be much easier. But safe space to practice. Okay, Glenn, did they try it? Yeah. What do they think doesn't work? Have they tried it? What was their experience? Has the ex actually tried it? What doesn't work? Yep, right? All of the basics. This one's a pretty simple one. I think it can throw us, because sometimes people say this with a lot of weight, right? It's very emotional. Well, my so-and-so says this stuff doesn't work. They have a lot of trust in that person. They might not have that equal trust in you. So a great thing, again, to dial in is, what was your brother's experience? Lighthearted, very happy, what was the experience with it? What did your doctor know about redox? How have they used it? What have their clientele seen with it, right? Get curious, not aggressive, but be curious. Okay. All right. The next technique that Greg taught me, the porcupine, is great. It keeps the conversation going, but at some point, you need to sometimes use a different tact. And he called this the feel, felt, found, or think, thought, found technique. And I love this. It helps guide every conversation. And, this next objection, can you put a 1 in the chat if someone's ever said something to this effect to you? My goodness, this is network marketing, or is this a pyramid scheme, or whatever it is? Yeah, the chat is filling up. I think that we get this often. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, oh God, this again. Where are we going to go? But the truth is, I love this objection. And the first thing I do is I porcupine it. Okay. So I say, well, what do you mean by that? And I'll tell you what, guys, when you ask that question of someone, they will give you a variety of answers. I've had people talk me through literally how then everything is actually a pyramid structure. And I'm like, okay, so what's the problem? I've had other people that just launch into some emotional thing about, I was in Melaleuca and I got stuck on auto ship and I hate the industry. I've had people talk about, I actually like network marketing. I'm curious, is it network marketing? Those are, easier to deal with, but not few and far between, but they do happen. So yeah, asking, what's your definition of it? What do you mean when you say that? And then they're going to have some story. And so this is where you use feel, felt, found. And the beauty behind this is that people, most of the time, they want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be acknowledged. And so you need to get on the level with them, right? Don't get defensive. You go, oh, wow, I know how you feel. Yeah, I've had a weird opinion about network marketing my whole life too. All right, get on their level, connect with them, find some way to relate genuinely with what they've just said. And then say, I felt the same way. So let them know you were in their shoes once upon a time, right? I know how you feel. I felt the same way. When my mom told me that ASEA was something I should do as a business, I told her that network marketing was sleazy and I wanted nothing to do with it. I get it. All right. And then this is the key. You say, but let me tell you and show you what I have found. All right. And you then open the door and you walk them through the path that you took from where they're at now to where you are now. And it is phenomenal. All right. This question is another great one to do this technique with. How many have gotten this one? This is a scam. I read about it online, right? It's expensive salt water, blah, blah, blah. Okay. When you get this one, so they say that women feel and men think. I think that it's personality types. I think some people are feelers. I think some people are more analytical. They're thinkers. So someone like this, they clearly Googled it. They're probably a thinker. So I would say, I know what you're thinking. I thought the same thing. I got online. I looked this up. I saw some stuff on the internet. It was not nice. Let me tell you what I found out, right? Get in their shoes. Tell them you were there. Show them how you got where you're at. And just say, look, I found out that some of those websites are actually funded by people that are linked with the pharmaceutical industry. And if you would like, I can show you information that's unbiased, that just gives you facts, and you can determine, what this is for yourself. But do you want to get the information that I saw? Like, give them a chance, an opportunity to walk down the path, that you walked. And it's really powerful. So the thing I want to kind of put out there to you is that practice is key with this, and you need to do repetition so that in the moment, it's very easy, right? Every single Saturday for over a year, I sat and I got that cup and I had to handle an objection in front of a whole bunch of people. And I got better and better and better and better at it. And then I could help other people get better and better and better at it. And so it was this really supportive environment. So then in the moment when someone said, oh, it's too expensive, I got excited. And I'm like, well, how much too much is it? Right? It became a game for me. And it's really an enjoyable thing. And remember this too, the first objection isn't the real objection. Keep asking questions, keep being direct. All right. Someone's always buying something, right? They're either you're buying their excuse or they're buying your reasoning, and you are the professional here. So you need to help them see what they're not seeing, and never, ever, ever take it personally, because it's not personal. All of this is really, it's them processing through. So if they're objecting, it's good news. If they're not objecting, it's bad news, because you're not sure what's going on and you can't help them get out of it. The one asking the questions is the one in control of the conversation. So, what I would say to you is make it a goal to go out and get an objection tomorrow and then see how you handle it. And if you didn't handle it well, ask somebody for some support so you can practice with it. And, the image that I always hold is that the people we're sharing ASEA with, they have on sunglasses. They have on some lens that's stopping them from seeing exactly what we currently have in front of them, right? Maybe it's the lens of they got burned by network marketing. I was just talking with a couple like an hour ago, and they said, look, Danielle, since the pandemic started, we got in with a network marketing company. It was a startup. We gave it our all for the last year and a half. They just fell apart. They had no integrity and they closed the business. And they said, we're just really raw from it. And I said, I get it. That's the sunglasses that they're wearing, but thank goodness they realize that they have it on, right? But it's my job now to help them take the sunglasses off and see that this is different, right? See it for what it is. So if you can visualize that, it then becomes a little game like, what sunglasses are they wearing? Okay, come here. Let's take them off. Okay, you got another pair on? Okay, come here. Let's take them off. It's just a really powerful thing to do. So Cindy, that was a really long-winded answer to your question, but that is how, I kind of got into all of this and handle objections. And yeah, COVID has been interesting. It's been a different series of objections, right? now that we get. So, but it's fail proof. I mean, when you know this formula to be able to handle what someone's throwing at you, it makes it super easy to create conversations.
Fantastic. So what about starting conversations? So let's just say you're out in the world or you're online and there's this myriad of people that you don't know. And you want to bring up ASEA to them, or you want to see if it would make sense to bring up ASEA to them. What kind of questions do you ask just to get the conversation started?
Yeah, so Greg taught me form. I like Fraser Brooks. He teaches Lord, but it's basic. Form stands for what? Family, occupation, recreation, and then motivator, money, whatever. The M is like varies with people. But the idea is if you form somebody, you're asking specific questions. I think it's weird to ask about family because like I don't have kids. So it's a little weird for me to be like, oh, do you have kids? Oh, I don't. Like it's a strange conversation. But Lord is more comfortable for me. So it's about their location, which during COVID, fabulous question. Hey, where do you live? Hey, what's the situation right now? By you. Ask. Everyone's open to talking about that kind of thing right now. Oh, I hear it's crazy in Australia. What's going on? How are you feeling about what's going on? That kind of thing. People just open up. They want to chit chat about it. And they're curious about what's going on in your part of the world or even in your city, like here in the US, just city by city, state by state. Like it's just different. It's really powerful to ask about location. O is occupation. So after I talk about, where they live and what's going on right now with where they live, I say, oh, what do you do for work there? And then I typically say, do you enjoy it? Because when you ask that question, typically people start complaining about their work, which is I'm just gathering information to bring up later, right? And they'll typically ask, what do you do? That is not my opportunity to talk about ASEA. I give a very short, little thing about what I do because I don't want to just throw up on them about ASEA. I want to keep the conversation going so that there's some trust that starts to build. The R in Lord stands for recreation. So like, hey, what do you do for fun there? What are you getting into to keep yourself busy, through this pandemic? That kind of thing. Again, you're looking for these connection points, things where you can start to build affinity, right? Some relationship with people. And when you can build that, people start to trust you more. And you can go on from there. And then the D is dreams. And it's a really fun question to ask somebody. Hey, it can be in their business, right? If they tell you that they own their own business, oh, what are your goals? What are your dreams for your work? If they were an employee somewhere and they don't think like that, oh, like, what are you looking to create between now and the end of the year? What do you hope your 2022 looks like? Those conversations are the questions that I ask. And I'm always, there's a reason I ask them, right? I want to make sure they're in a location where we sell ASEA. I want to understand what they do and if they might be the right type of person, entrepreneurial minded or open to opportunity, whatever it might be. What do they do for fun? Are they athletic, right? I'm learning things about them that then I can turn around and bring up down the line. I can bring up ASEA. So maybe I let the conversation die for a week and then I come back and I say, hey, I've been thinking about you since we talked. I don't know if you'd be interested, but I came across something. It's a breakthrough. It's changed my world. I thought you might be interested for X reason if I can relate it to something you said. Do you want to take a look? Do you want to chat for a little bit? If not, no big deal. I just thought I would ask. I make it very nonchalant. So that's what I do.
Fantastic. So if somebody does say, well, what do you do? What is your short little complete answer?
Oh, yeah, it's a good question. So I should listen to it. I have it recorded on like a voice memo. What I have found, I do everything in the cold market, right? I do everything on social media now, so people don't know me. And I have found that like video is the best way to interact with people. They feel you, they connect with you so much faster. If I can't video chat with somebody, right? It's like a little weird, like, hey, you want a video chat? We just met. No, that's weird. But voice memo is really good because people feel your energy. The worst is text. People can take a text one way or the other way. So I actually have a pre-recorded voice memo on my phone that I just shoot out as a response. So it's standard. It's the same thing every time. If there's some nuance where someone has shared something that I'm like, oh, wow, I'll say something different. I haven't listened to my voice memo in a year.
Can you play it? Can you play it? Put your phone on and just play your voice memo that you are shooting out to people?
I can probably do that. I feel like we should pull up a conversation that I've had recently and even just like show the flow. So let's look at Jake. Da, 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 da. Oh, well, Jake's I wrote because Jake was just texting me. So let's see. I wrote to him. I've been changing lives for the last 6 years with a technology called redox signaling. It brought me back from an injury, and I just felt like things happen for a reason, and I meant to share it. What do you do? So he presented the question to me first in this chat. So one secret, guys, that Facebook also is like very up on network marketers right now because everyone is doing stuff. And so they block you from things. They send stuff to spam. One way to work around that is do people you might know. So suggested friends. And suggested friends is phenomenal because Facebook's telling you to connect with this person. So they're not going to cut you off. And so I literally say, I don't know if you can read this. I say, hey, you came across my people you may know, and I'm always open to connecting with like-minded, high vibrational people. How are you? And he says, hey, Danielle, thanks for reaching out. What do you do? So at that point, I thought it was weird to send a memo because I knew nothing about him yet. So that was my response. And then he got into it. He said, that's an amazing story. I do a few things. I'd love to chat with you. I have a podcast. And I was like, great. So we're now doing a podcast together. It was that easy, right? The Facebook is full of, like-minded people. So what I would suggest is go to a group, go to a community, go to a page where there's people that have things that you're interested in. Start friending those people and say, hey, I saw you in this group. I'm looking to meet other hikers, right? And then you'll get a bunch of people that then Facebook's going to start suggesting, right? And they're going to have some commonality with you. So use Facebook strategically, and it's going to make your life a lot easier.
All right. So your short answer to him was that I've been changing lives for years now. I mean, it's not, I've been working with cellular health discovery. It's about the big picture than the technology, right?
Yeah, I go a little bigger because sometimes depending on how I can navigate the conversation later, like we're changing lives with finance too. So it keeps it a little open to do that.
Fantastic. Well, good. So tell me, you have a million things you could have done in your career. Why has Asea appealed to you? And I know we're getting to the bottom of the hour, so this is like a 2-minute question, but why did Asea appeal to you so much?
Simple. So my car accident happened and it changed my life. It changed my perspective forever that tomorrow's not guaranteed. Anything could happen tomorrow. And so when I got well, I said, I want to do something that gives me purpose every single day because I don't know that I'll be here tomorrow and it needs to be a full day, something I'm proud of. Second, it needs to be flexible because I don't want to be stuck at a job. I don't want to be stuck in an office. I don't want to be stuck someone telling me, no, you can't take off work. You need to be flexible because life happens. And the third was I wanted passive income because I couldn't physically work. And so I couldn't earn money. And I said, never again will I be in that position. And I didn't know what it looked like. My mom is the one that said, I think Asea answers all those questions. I literally said to her, nah, network marketing is sleazy. But I went to the Envision conference in Las Vegas in 2015, and I heard Tyler speak, and I had goosebumps head to toe. And I said, this is what I want to do.
There you go. Fantastic. So what would your last bit of parting advice be to somebody who's just starting out in their Asea business, or maybe they've been in for a while and they feel stuck? What would be something to help them get that momentum, that wind underneath their wings again?
I would just ask you, what are you reading? Because the truth is, it's the person in the mirror that's going to change everything, and you have to change that person. And it's through personal development. It's through reading books. It's through the conversations that you're having, with people around you. If you're not feeding your mind with good stuff, you're going to get stuck and you're going to talk yourself out of doing this. So keep reading, keep filling your mind. And if you don't know what to read, there's some fabulous suggestions out there, and just ask. We're all happy to share.
Fantastic. Well, I should probably toss it over to Danny before we wrap it up today. Danny, sorry for hogging all the time, but just wanted to see if you had anything to say or ask before we wrap it up tonight.
Danielle's, she's one of the best trainers in Asea and absolute legend. So I've got no questions, but I want to use this time to thank Danielle, but happy anniversary to you and Bo. From all of us, from the Asea family.
Thank you. 35 years. Do you believe it? We're setting records here. Right, honey?
Good on you.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Oh,
well, fantastic.
Amazing.
What's that?
I said, happy anniversary. That is amazing. You guys are a fun couple.
Have an awesome night.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Fantastic training. Hope that helped everybody. You can see this on Facebook, and we'll also put it on our YouTube channel. Good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.